Hello everyone. For this video, I am going to continue the structural system. So we're going to learn here how you're going to create the grid, how you're going to add columns, beams, and the joists. Alright, so to start with, we are going to create first the grid. The grid is very important in architectural drawing. Any intersections of these grids identify the locations of columns or even intersections of the beams. Alright, so to do that, I want you to open first your drawing and I want you to go to the floor plan and level 1. Okay, so this is your office building. Alright, so once you have opened it, I want you to go to your architectural tab and I want you to go all the way to the right side. You have there the grid. So I want you to select that and we're going to begin by adding grid. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to snap that to the edge of the building. Okay, so make a polar tracking and then I want you to go and draw that all the way to the bottom. Let me go all the way down here. And there you go. So and then as a requirement, it says here that we need to have this one about 1 foot away from the edge of the building. So to do that, I want you to move it. So you just need to command modify and you have here the move command. I want you to select this one here and I want you to click it and then I want you to click the initial and then move to the right and type in 1 foot. So you'll be able to move that to about 1 foot away. Alright, so with that we can now create the others. Alright, so I want you to go ahead and do the architectural and then grid again, grid. So this time as we go to here, we are going to select the middle part of this. Okay, so make sure that you make a polar tracking to the middle. And then make sure that you make a polar tracking as well to the left so that you will have that alignment. So click that and then bring it all the way to the bottom and make sure that you have that polar tracking again. And then click and that will be your second grid. And the next one we have here again, we are just going to select again the outside, make a polar tracking, and then we're going to move that 1 foot again inside. Alright, so make a polar tracking here, click that, and then we're going to move that in a bit. So and then I want you to create here again. The numbering will not be a problem. You can change them anytime. Oh, it's not aligned, so let me redo it. Make sure it's vertical before you click it. Alright, and then next is in here on this line here and this column. Okay, so make sure that we use that one. Okay, let me just you can just align it later on. Okay, so I want you just click here and then draw all the way to the bottom and we could just move that later on, okay, to make sure that it's at the center. Alright, and then here I want you to draw again, okay, on the edge of the wall and we could just move that later on to about 1 foot. Alright, there you go. So let's clean up a little bit. So this one here needs to be 1 foot, so we just need to move that, click, enter, and select this object here and move it here 1 foot. There you go. Make sure that this line here is at the center of your wall here, so it's not centered, so we are going to move that. Okay, so we are going to move this, okay, and enter. So we're going to move this to alright, so probably we could use the align command. This is the align command here. So we are going to select the midpoint of the wall. This is the midpoint of the wall here. So once you select that, and then select your grid line so that it will move to the middle. Alright, so the other one is this one here. We need to move this one 1 foot inside as well. So we're going to move this, and we're going to move it from here going in 1 foot. Alright, so we already created that vertical. The next thing that we are going to create now is the horizontal grid. So again, it will be the same. Any of those exterior wall, the grid should be moved 1 foot inside. Okay, so again, I went to architectural, and then I have the grid, and then I'm going to start here on the first one here. So let me see here. I'm going to make a polar tracking. There you go. Is the edge. All right, and then I want you to do the next one here. I want you to do the outside. Sorry. Polar tracking. Make sure that they align. There you go. Click and then go to the right, polar tracking, and you will notice that they're all aligned at the end, so make sure that you're going to do that as well too. Okay, all right, so here we're going to do the center of the wall, polar tracking, and then here that should be also on the edge of the wall, then go across, and we're going to just move that again to center of the wall. All right, and then here's the last one. Make sure that you make a polar tracking to the edge of the wall, outside edge of the wall. Okay, there you go. So that it will be much easier for you to move 1 foot in. All right, so there you go. So let's clean up. We could to here now modify, and then I want you to go move. We're going to move this one here. How much again? It should be 1 foot in, so 1 foot. This one should be 1 foot as well too, so we are going to move that grid line as well. Move this, click, and then move inside 1 foot. And this one should be at the center of the wall, so it should be okay. And this one should be moved in, so move this one, move in 1 foot. There you go. And then the next one is this. We have to move this one here, so move this, and we're going to move 1 foot in. Alright, so that is a grid line, and the next thing we're going to do now is I want you to change the level here, level, that is your A, instead of number, so that it will distinguish the horizontal and the vertical grid. So letters is in the horizontal, and we're going to name this as your C, and this is your D, and this is your E. Alright, so one thing is at the bottom here, we are going to change a little bit of these numbers here. We are going to change this to 2.8, and then we are going to name this 3, and then this will be 4, and the last one will be 5. All right, so we're done with the grid. You're set to start adding the columns and beams and the joists. All right, so how do we add the columns? All right, so what I want you to do, I want you to go to level 2, shift that to level 2 before we start adding the columns. I want you to go and shift that to level 2. So double click that. So this is our plan now with the given grid and both the vertical and the horizontal. All right, so once you created the grid, we are now ready to add columns and beams and joists into our plan. All right, so to do that, I want you to shift now to level 2 structural framing. So again, when we created your grid, we were at the floor plan. Now that we are ready to add the columns, the beams, and the joists, we need to shift that to level 2 structural framing. All right, so with that, let me start with my grid C2 for the sake of illustration. So to do that, we need to go to structural tab, and then I want you to go to says column. All right, so you will notice if you loaded from the family the correct columns that we are asked to use, then it should automatically show up here. All right, so again, notice it is depth, and then what I want you to do is bring this one. You will notice that there is that solid square, and I want you to snap that to the intersection of those two grid. So I want you to click that. There you go, and I want you to press escape. Okay, so I will be able to show you some. So with this one here, I want you to select that. So I want you to select this, and I want you to go to select the new column that you have created, and you will notice here on the properties palette, it gives you here the base level. So you have there level 1. Okay, and make sure that the base offset, I want you to change that to -8. So take note, you need to put that negative and the inches. Otherwise, if you're going to type in -8, that will accept as -8 foot, and it will create problems. You will not be able to see that particular column. All right, so and on the top level here, I want you to change that to roof. So I want you to go ahead and find roof. I'm sorry. On the options. So again, these are the things that I've changed. Make sure that you have at level 1 offset, base offset to -8 inches. That is going down a little bit of the slab, because we're going to join that with a base plate later on. And of course, the top level is the roof. All right, so once you change that, I want you to go ahead and click apply. All right, so and then what I want you to do is I want you to do the same. I want you to add all those columns, probably 21 of those at every given intersection of those grid. All right, and make sure that you're going to snap that to the intersections of those. All right, so what I'm going to do, except the outside of the building. Okay, all right, so to do that, go ahead and add that again. So I want you to go back to structural and then column. Okay, click that, and I want you to go and add those column now. So there you go. So click it here, 1, snap it to the intersection. All right, and then here is the intersection here of the grid. All right, so we already added 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have here 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so I want you to go ahead and add that all the way to the other columns. Okay, I missed one here too. Let me just finish adding them. So because there is a one step that I want to show it to you. Okay, so I want you to just complete all of those column. Alright, and make sure that you add them to every intersection of the grid. Alright, so we already added all those columns at every given intersection of the grid. Alright, so the next thing that we are going to do now is we could change those offset at one time. So what I want you to do is I want you to go into the filter here. Alright, why it's not okay, so first I want you to select just create a crossing window. Okay, and with that I want you to go and click the filter. All right, so filter that. So what I want you to do is check none. Okay, so select check none, and then I want you to go ahead and select your column. Okay, so I want you to do structured column here. All right, so I want you to click OK, and then what I want you to do now is all right, so we're ready to add the beams into our structural plan. So one thing that I want you to look at first is the visibility control. So I want you to go into the view, visibility graphics, make sure that the curtain panels, systems and mullions are unchecked, and that's the only thing that you're going to do it there. All right, and then click OK. The next thing we have to do is I want you to load the tag. So I want you to go to insert, and then I want you to go to load family, and I want you to go to says annotation, and then I want you to go to structural, and I want you to go to where you could find structural framing tag. So here I want you to click that one, and then I want you to click open. All right, so we're ready to add the beam now. So I want you to go to the structural tab. Okay, and we have here the beam. Okay, click that. Then I want you to find the beam that we need for grid C, and in between 1 and 2 we need the W24 by 55. You should be able to see that on the plan that I gave you. So we are going to add that, but make sure that you have to click this one here, select this tag and placement, and that way it allows you automatically provide the tag as you place those beam. All right, so I want you to click that, and I want you to snap that to here to the center. Okay, so D1 and D2, click that, and I want you to go all the way across and make sure that you put it in there. So that is your beam, and you will notice that we have here that 24 by 55 in there. Okay, now one thing that I want to emphasize is that we need to lower this one here, because right now this one is sitting at flushes into the floor on the second level, which we don't want that, because that one should support both your joists and the floor deck. The floor deck is about 3 inches thick, and we have the joist is about 2.5 for the bottom coil, and then we have the bearing plate, which is about 2.5 as well too. So that will gives you a total of about 8 inches lower. So again, to give you to lower that, make sure that you are going to change the start level offset and the end level offset. So again here, make sure that you're going to put -8 inches. So again, that's negative. You have to put that negative sign, and also on the end offset here, that is -8 inches. So both the start level and the end level should be both -8 inches. And that's it that you're going to do, and you need to do that for every given beams that we have. Okay, all right, they're all -8. So I want you to follow the handout that I gave you, and I want you to add the rest of the beam as well. So again, go back to your structural, and we have here the structural beam. Add that here again to this one here, but make sure you have here the not that one. Okay, you need to select not the extension. Okay, so make sure that you have that, and then go ahead and change that to -8 inches. Okay, and also and the next one -8 inches. So again, make sure that you do that. So I want you to go ahead and do the rest of the other beams, and pay attention to the sizes of the beams that you have on the handout. All right, and then we will do the joists in a bit. All right, and in the case of the arcs, what to do is, again, I want you to use this one here. Select the beam tool again, this one, and the size of this is 30 by 90. Okay, this one here. So on the ribbon, I want you to select the arc, start and radius, or we have here center ends, and then you have the arc. Okay, so let's going to use the start and radius. This one here, start and radius. All right, so click that and make sure that we are going to select 30 by 90. We selected 30 by 99 here. All right, so you are going to load that again, insert, load, and I want you to go to structural framing, and then go steel, and then I want you to go W plans, and it should be W 30 by 90. All right, because I chose the wrong size a while ago. It should be 30 by 90. There you go. Click OK. All right, so you're ready. So select 30 by 90, and then I want you to pick points here. This will be your first point, okay, on the intersection here. See that triangle there? That's your first point, and I want you to go to this one as your second point. Click that, and then I want you to select the midpoint of this. It should be about 90 degrees. There you go. So you have that 90 degrees. So I want you to click that. There you go. So you have there now the beams with this W 30 by 19. What I want you to do is to add a column at that midpoint. So I want you to go to the structural, and I want you to add column, and then again, that's the column that we have, and I want you to snap that to the midpoint. All right, there you go. All right, so make sure that you adjust the column again. Make sure that the offset is -8 and the top level is the roof. So take note of that one. -8 and the roof. Alright, so the next thing you have to do is to rotate that column. Okay, so make sure that you rotate that. So you just need to go to modify. You have here the rotate. I want you to select the object, enter it, get the midpoint of that, and rotate that to 45 degrees. Type in 45 degrees, and there you go. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is to split this one because we don't want that beam at the middle of the column. Alright, so to do that, what you do is go with the modify command, and we're going to edit it, okay, by splitting. Okay, so I want you to select the beam, and then we are going to edit that. Okay, we are going to split with I'll just go with the split here. All right, and I want you to click the center of this one here. Oh, probably this one here with gap. Split the center of this one. All right, so it should look like that now. All right, so that is how it should look like. So again, I choose the split with gap. So take note of that. All right, so that is the column and the beam at the corner. Okay, and again, I want you to add the rest of those beam on your floor plan, and do the same thing also on the roof. And then I'm going to show you how you're going to create the joists. All right.